Private jets, boats, those aren't things that suit a climate activist, don't you think? Welcome to a deep dive into the paradox of environmental activism in the modern world, centered around one of its most iconic figures, Greta Thunberg. This Swedish teenager has stirred the global conversation on climate change. But today, we peel back the layers to explore an often asked question. What is the carbon cost of being Greta Thunberg? From her transatlantic adventures to her daily lifestyle choices, join us as we navigate the complex intersection of ideals and reality in the quest for a sustainable future. Greta Thunberg's story isn't just one of activism. It's a tale of personal transformation. Diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, a condition that often leads to intense focus on specific interests, Thunberg's world changed when she first learned about climate change at 8 years old. This revelation led her to adopt a vegan diet and renounce air travel. Recognizing the significant carbon emissions from both livestock and airplanes, her early steps set the stage for a life dedicated to environmental activism, challenging societal norms and personal conveniences for the sake of the planet. In August 2019, Thunberg embarked on a headline-grabbing journey across the Atlantic. Her vessel, the Malaysia Dew, a 60-foot racing yacht fitted with solar panels and underwater turbines, designed for minimal environmental impact. This two-week voyage, positioning itself as a carbon-neutral alternative to flying, was a bold statement against the high emissions of air travel. Yet the environmental purity of this journey wasn't absolute. The necessity of transatlantic flights for crew members introduced a complicating factor in the carbon calculus of this voyage. The Malaysia Dew, while showcasing advancements in sustainable maritime technology, also raises questions about the broader environmental impact of such vessels. Constructing such a high-tech racing yacht involves significant carbon emissions, from the use of carbon fiber to various construction materials and resins. Thunberg's journey, therefore, spotlights the nuanced reality that even the most eco-friendly options have an environmental cost, challenging us to consider the full life-cycle impact of our choices. Across Europe, Thunberg's travel methods shift to trains and, while in the US, a Tesla Model 3. Train travel, especially on electric lines, offers a lower carbon footprint compared to cars or planes. However, this doesn't nullify its environmental impact, especially when diesel trains are involved. The Tesla, loaned by Arnold Schwarzenegger, also brings to light the debate over the true carbon footprint of electric vehicles, considering the emissions from their production and the electricity generation mix powering them. Thunberg's activism transcends her personal carbon footprint. Her speeches at major international forums and her leadership in the Fridays for Future movement have sparked a global conversation on climate action. This influence comes with scrutiny and criticism. Her methods of travel, while aiming to reduce emissions, are not without controversy regarding their practicality and broad applicability. Thunberg's story thus becomes a lens through which we examine the complexities of environmental activism in a world still heavily reliant on fossil fuels. Greta Thunberg's influence is not confined to her travels and speeches. It stretches into the very fabric of youth activism worldwide. In 2018, she started a solo protest outside the Swedish parliament, which quickly snowballed into a global movement. This movement, known as Fridays for Future, saw over 17,000 students in 24 countries taking part in school strikes for climate action by November 2018. Thunberg's relentless activism earned her a nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize, and by March 2019, the number of participants in these strikes had escalated to more than 2 million people across 135 countries. Thunberg's activism, while drawing widespread attention, has also influenced political landscapes. In Europe, there are indications of a Greta Thunberg effect influencing climate policies and elections. For instance, Austria's Green Party saw a significant increase in support, possibly influenced by Thunberg's activism. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has acknowledged Thunberg and young activists' role in accelerating climate policy efforts in Europe. However, the effectiveness of this activism in changing policies on a broader scale remains a topic of debate and observation. Thunberg's activism has had a significant global reach. Her speeches at key international forums, like the UN Climate Action Summit and COP24, have resonated with young people worldwide, driving a surge in youth activism. Her stance has not only sparked debates but also inspired a wave of climate awareness and action. Thunberg's influence extends across continents, mobilizing millions and bringing climate change to the forefront of global discourse. As we reflect on Greta Thunberg's remarkable journey, it becomes clear that her activism is more than just a series of speeches or protests. It is a resounding call to each of us to acknowledge and act on the pressing issue of climate change. Thunberg's story challenges us to consider our own role in this global fight and to strive for a future where sustainability is not just an ideal but a reality. Let us take inspiration from her tenacity and commitment to forge a greener, more sustainable path forward.